Well, the Benedictine sisters' plans to demolish the nearly 100-year-old St. Scholastica Monastery in Fort Smith has been a source of a raging local and state debate. That building is on the National Historic Register list. Michael Tilley has been covering the topic since the news broke. He and I sat down for a conversation. Michael, provide the background for me about this building, kind of how long it's been in existence, and really when the plans became public that it was going to be demolished.
We've known for several years now that the Benedictine sisters aren't using it, and it's kind of been in a state of disrepair. But it was on May 10th of this year where the sisters announced that they were going to go ahead and demolish the structure. At the time, they said that they had spent several years reaching out, trying to find developers, trying to find uses that made practical sense and made financial sense, but just couldn't find anybody like that. But after the May 10th announcement, we learned that wasn't quite the truth, that we had a lot of developers come out of the woodwork and said, hey, give us time, pause the demolition, and give us time to find some options. And the sisters have stuck to their guns. This is kind of a mystery. They have decided they are going to tear this facility down, and it's a 100-year-old structure. It's on almost a 100-year-old structure. It's on the National Register of Historic Places. It's the late Greek Revival type architecture, and it's one of the most iconic structures in Fort Smith. Stacy Hurst with the Department of Heritage says it's one of the more iconic structures in Arkansas, but it looks like it's coming down.
Why won't the sisters change their mind?
That is a great question. For example, Al Rajabi, and I hope I'm not butchering his last name. He's the guy that owns the company that renovated, redeveloped the Arlington Hotel and Resort. He sent a recent letter to the sisters saying, and these are his words, that the building was in remarkable shape and that it would be a simple save. And he asked the sisters to give him time to come up with, he said that there were many options that would be financially lucrative, that would help the sisters and provide them residual income for years and years. And again, they politely said, no thanks, we're going to tear it down. It is a mystery. The only thing I've heard that makes sense is those sisters, they're 80, 90, I think one is approaching 100, if not already there. They don't want the disruption. Their convent, where they live, is near that facility, and they just don't want the disruption. They don't want anyone on their property operating a facility, so they've just decided they're just going to tear it down. But it will be a huge loss. Again, if you spent any time in Fort Smith, you're familiar with the facility. It's a beautiful building that you pass by on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, and it looks like it's going to come down. They've already contracted with a demolition company out of Catoosa, Oklahoma, which is near Tulsa. And 2 to 3 weeks from now, they may start tearing it down. It'll start with removing asbestos. We won't see actual demolition for a while.
Any prediction for what happens next?
No, it would take, Roby, almost a literal Hail Mary for this thing to be saved at the last minute. I would be very surprised. Every time there's been an offer to save it, I keep thinking, well, now this is a good out. The sisters will take this out and they'll say, okay, we're going to pause and we'll look at it. But each time they just said, no, we don't. We're going to demolish the building.